Hello and welcome to Bible Body Doubling. This is where we read the stories together out loud. This is where we read the stories together and we wonder out loud. I am your host, Giovanna J, here with my co hosts, KJ5 and CSB. I've missed you all. It's been 4 days, and as you can see, I'm a little under the weather. And I was getting ready to read my book, that good book, and I said, I miss the people. And so I got all the fixings, guys. I got all the fixings. I got mm, my little oregano going. Hold on, wait. My glasses. It was a little fog. I got my little peppermint going. A little sniff, sniff. Oh, never hurt nobody. And then I don't know if you all are familiar with this jar. My sister got it for me. I had my own. Don't know where I put it, so she let me borrow hers. It is a aromatherapy inhaler. You just sniff, sniff, and it helps out. Let me see. And then I made me some turmeric from the root, ginger, honey from the bees, and pepper. And this is my little concoction I'll be sipping on. So I'm ready. I'm ready to read to you all. I was like, I can't go another week. I can't. I miss the people. So I'm here, ready. So last episode, let's talk about it a little bit. Like, where did we stop from? What was happening was just, it felt so last year ago. What was happening in the last episode? Mmm. I remember now. It's when King Solomon made the new temple. So remember, King Solomon is David's baby that's from Bathsheba. The one, all the tap dance and jazz that happened with. So it was the building of the temple. It was Solomon, like wisdom was on display and proof because it was I killed that scene. I don't know if y'all remember. I need to go ahead and excerpt a little bit of that and put it on the Instagram because I killed that scene, didn't I? With the two women. It was the two women, and they Solomon had basically threatened to cut the baby in half, and then that's how he found out who the baby belonged to because one of the women killed her baby by mistake when she rolled on the baby at night, and then she stole the other woman's baby. And they was before the king for him to make a decision of who baby it was. And that's how he found out who the real mother was. But I killed that scene, right? Hey, Nazon and Angela. Hey, guys. Oh, I feel like hi, y'all. Okay. I know I did this last episode. I just want to say I can look to the side. I can like look at the chat a little bit, y'all, without getting tripped up. Okay, let's see what else did I miss. We saw where not David, but King Solomon was basically getting payback for his dad. And then and that was with he killed Joab, he killed who else did he kill? He banished the priest. And yeah, he banished the priest. This is the part that got me because this was the priest that was with him through all the turmoil. But because these are real people, and I know I keep saying that, I wonder if I think it was the priest Abathar. I don't know if I said this on the last podcast because it was so many moons ago, 4 days ago. Well, 4 business days. That'll be 4 business days for us. So I missed 2 Saturdays and 2 Wednesdays. But It was a part where Abathar betrayed David by trying to make um, Absalom brother, what was his name? Absalom brother king, and it was King Solomon who's the king. But anyway, Abathar, let me go to the priest. I was thinking about him when he got banished. Adonijah was his brother. That was the brother of Absalom. And Adonijah, they made him king after. Well, they didn't make him king, but Adonijah was king when David was trying to come back to the throne of some sort. It was it him. I'm so all tripped up. Give me a second. Let me recollect my thoughts. King Solomon became king. Okay. And Adonijah asked for the concubine of Saul. I mean, the concubine of David. The pretty girl, the beautiful girl, when David couldn't keep warm, so she would sleep with him. Not sleep with him, but sleep in the bed with him so he can be warm. That so he later, and once King David had died, he asked for that concubine from Solomon's mother. And Solomon's mothers went to ask him for the concubine. And we know that once someone sleep with the king's concubine, that's kind of like, a little slithery. And so I think, and then from there, that's when everything hit the fan. Because that's when I think, yeah, he got killed. His brother got killed. But then Abathar was, I just didn't understand him because I was like, you was with King David with all of the drama, all the way down, and then you betrayed him. And I was wondering, like, Abathar was like a holy man, and maybe he was upset with David because, we all got our personal political um, beliefs and how we think things should go. And I was thinking maybe Abathar was a little upset with David after he slept with Bathsheba and then went to try to hide it and all these kind of things because he's a holy man. And maybe he was just upset with David and just thought David wasn't good enough, that he wasn't deserving enough. And so that's why he betrayed him, because I was like, all this time you didn't betray him. David looked after you. You were the only sole survivor after the genocide of the priests. You ran away and David took care of you. And y'all was on the run for forever, even all the way till he got the throne back. And all of a sudden you wanted to betray him. You and Joab. And I'm just like, why? Joab, we know Joab was rogue. Okay. And Joab, I just was like, I just think Joab too, he probably had a personal vendetta, or maybe he just didn't like the way David was ruling Israel. Again, these two feel more like political views, where Abathar feels like more like a religious kind, and Joab is just like a nationalist, in my opinion. And so, yeah, so I was thinking about that, why he would betray him. Mm-hmm. What y'all think? Why y'all think he betrayed him? Anyway, this is us wondering out loud. And the what's his name? King Solomon ended up having his own little experience with God. We read about that. And then we saw the temple, the building of the temple, and Solomon's blessing. And now we are on chapter 9. All right, gang. So now it's King Solomon. That one, what you thought it was, that was a little bit of this thing. It's a little bit of this thing. Okay. Now this is what you think it is, right here. If it's up here, that ain't what you think it is. Down here, it's a little bit of what you think it is. All right. Let's get into it. We are on chapter 9, verse 1. And you know how I do. I'm just going to go up a little bit to maybe like chapter 8, verse 65. Okay. Solomon My nails a little yellow because I made the turmeric, and turmeric stain your nail, your fingernail. Okay, just a little something because this is the great pointer, and she's looking a little off. All right, King Solomon. Oh, sorry, verse 65. Solomon and all Israel with him, a great assembly, from the entrance of Hamath to the brook of Egypt, observed the festival at the time in the presence of the Lord our God. 7 days and 7 more days, 14 days. On the 15th day, he sent the people away. So they blessed the king and went to their homes, rejoicing and with happy hearts for all the goodness that the Lord had done for his servant David and for his people Israel. When Solomon finished building the temple of the Lord, the royal palace, and all that Solomon desired to do, the Lord appeared to Solomon a second time, just as he had appeared to him at Gibeon. The Lord said to him, I have heard your prayer and petition you have made before me. I have consecrated this temple you have built to put my name there forever. My eyes and my heart will be there at all times. As for you, if you walk before me as your father David walked, with a heart of integrity and in what is right, doing everything I commanded you, and if you keep my statutes and ordinances, I will establish your royal throne over Israel forever. As I promised your father David, you will never fail to have a man on the throne of Israel. If you or your sons turn away from following me and do not keep my commands, my statutes that I have set before you, and if you go and serve other gods and bow and worship to them, I will cut off Israel from the land I gave them, and I will reject the temple I have sanctified for my name. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You could give him all you want to, but okay. Listen to me. Listen to me. That part. And I will reject the temple I have sanctified. So you going to reject the thing you cleaned, that you sanctioned. Got to be more careful. Sanctified for my name. Israel would become an object of scorn and ridicule among all the peoples. Though this temple is now exalted, everyone who passes by will be appalled and will scoff. They will say, why did the Lord do this to the land in this temple? Then they will say, because they abandoned the Lord their God, who brought their ancestors out of the land of Egypt. They held on to other gods and bowed and worshipped to them and served them. Because of this, the Lord brought all this ruin on them. At the end of 20 years, during which Solomon had built the two houses, the Lord's temple and the royal palace, King Hiram of Tyre hath supplied him with cedar and cypress logs and gold for his every wish. King Solomon gave Hiram 20 towns in the land of Galilee. So Hiram went out from Tyre to look over the towns that Solomon had given him, but he was not pleased with them. So he said, what are these towns you've given me, my brother? So he called them the land of Kabul, as they are still called today. How Hiram had sent the king 9,000 pounds of gold. Now Hiram had sent the king 9,000 pounds of gold. This is the account of the forced labor that King Solomon had imposed to build the Lord's temple, his own place, the supporting terraces, the wall of Jerusalem and Hazor, Megiddo, and Jazer. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, had attacked and captured Jazer. He then burnt it, killed the Canaanites who lived in the city, and gave it as a dowry to his daughter, Solomon's wife. Then Solomon rebuilt Jazer, Lower Beth Haran, Baalath Tamar in the wilderness of Judah, all the storage cities that belonged to Solomon, the chariot cities, the cavalry cities, and whatever Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, Lebanon, or anywhere else in the land of his dominion. As for all the peoples who remained of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites who were not Israelites, their descendants who remained in the land after them, those whom the Israelites were unable to destroy completely, Solomon imposed forced labor on them. It is still this way today, but Solomon did not consign the Israelites to slavery. They were soldiers, his servants, his commanders, his captains, and commanders of his chariots and his cavalry. These were the deputies who were over Solomon's work, 550 who supervised the people doing the work. Pharaoh's daughter moved from the city of David to the house that Solomon had built for her. He then built the terraces. 3 times a year, Solomon offered burnt offerings and fellowship offerings on the altar he had built for the Lord, and he burnt incense with them in the Lord's presence. So he completed the temple. King Solomon put together a fleet of ships at Ezion-Geber, which is near Elath on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. With the fleet, Hiram sent his servants, experienced seamen, along with Solomon's servant. They went to Ophir and acquired gold there, 16 tons, and delivered it to Solomon. The queen of Sheba heard about Solomon's fame, connected with the name of the Lord, and came to test him with riddles. Un momentico. I'm just going to mute you guys a little bit. Hold on one moment. I wanted to go back to where you guys left off at, but I don't know. So I missed the whole little segment. I want to say chapter 10. I'm looking at it was right about before, what'd she say? What did they say? I blew my nose, but I don't know. I had been reading it before there. What did you all know about the Queen of Sheba part? Okay, I think I'm gonna start from chapter 10 because I was on the road. Next to the bottom of 10. Thank you, Angela. Okay, next to the bottom of 10. Okay. About this area. Okay, this is chapter 10. We're going to start from 13. Okay, yes. Okay. Oh, this is so nice. A little real time. All right. All right. We'll start from what the Queen of Sheba gave King Solomon. Then she gave the king 4.5 tons of gold, a great quantity of spices and precious stones. Never again did such a quantity of spices arrive as those the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. In addition, Hiram's fleet that carried gold from Ophir bought from Ophir a large quantity of almond wood. So on this part right here, did you all Google almond wood? Because I went and Googled that during that time to see what it looked like, and it was black, and it was really pretty. So almond wood and precious stones. The king made the almond wood into steps for the Lord's temple and the king's palace, and into lyres and harps for the singers. Never before did such almond wood arrive, and the like has not been seen again. King Solomon gave the Queen of Sheba her every desire, whatever she asked, besides what he had given her out of his royal bounty. Then she, along with her servants, returned to her own country. The weight of gold that came to Solomon annually was 25 tons, besides what came from the merchants. Trade and merchandise, and all the Arabian kings and governors of the land. King Solomon made 200 large shields of hammered gold. 15 pounds of gold went into each shield. He made 300 small shields of hammered gold. Nearly 4 pounds of gold went into each shield. The king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. The king also made a large ivory throne. Okay, so this part is where I looked up what an ivory throne would look like, and it's really spectacular. So y'all might want to Google that, because what I was saying before is that by the time we get to episode 110, I could probably like put a little something up here so you all can see it with me right now. Y'all gotta wait because I don't know what I'm doing. All right. So the large ivory throne, look, Google that, and it's really beautiful. And he took that and he overlaid it with fine gold. The throne had 6 steps. There was a rounded top at the back of the throne, armsets on either side of the seat, and 2 lions standing beside the armrest. 12 lions were standing there on the 6 steps, one at each end. Nothing like it had ever been made in any other kingdom. All of King Solomon's drinking cups were gold, and all the utensils of the house of the forest of Lebanon were pure gold. There was no silver, since it was considered as nothing in Solomon's time. For the king had ships of Tarshish at sea with Hiram's fleet, and once every 3 years the ships of Tarshish would arrive bearing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. King Solomon surprised all the kings of the world in riches and in wisdom. The whole world wanted an audience with Solomon to hear the wisdom that God had put in his heart. Every man would bring his annual tribute, items of silver and gold, clothing, weapons, spices, and horses and mules. Solomon accumulated 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen and stationed them in the chariot cities with the king in Jerusalem. The king made silver as common in Jerusalem as stones, and he made cedar as abundant as sycamore in the Judean foothills. Solomon's horses were imported from Egypt and Cu. The king's traders bought them from Cu at the going price. A chariot was imported from Egypt for 15 pounds of silver, and a horse for nearly 4 pounds. In the same way, they exported them to all the kings of the Hittites and to the kings of Aram through their agents. King Solomon loved many foreign women in addition to Pharaoh's daughter, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonians, and Hittite women from the nations about which the Lord had told the Israelites, "You must not intermarry with them, and they must not intermarry with you, because they will turn your heart away to follow their gods." To these women, Solomon was deeply attached in love. He had 700 wives. He had 700 wives who were princesses and 300 who were concubines, and they turned his heart away. When Solomon was old, his wives turned his heart away to follow other gods. He was not wholeheartedly devoted to the Lord his God, as his father David had been. Solomon followed Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Milcom, the abhorrent idol of the Ammonites. Solomon did what was evil in the Lord's sight, and unlike his father David, he did not remain loyal to the Lord. Remain. Because, David did some shady stuff, too. But You get an underline. Not quite a highlight, but you get an underline. At that time, Solomon built a high place for Shemosh, the abhorrent idol of Moab, and for Milcom, the abhorrent idol of the Ammonites on the hill across from Jerusalem. He did the same for all his foreign wives who were burning incense and offering sacrifices to their gods. The Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart had turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, who had appeared to him twice. He had commanded him about this so that he would not follow other gods. But Solomon did not do what the Lord had commanded. Then the Lord said to Solomon, since you have done this and did not keep my covenant and my statutes, which I commanded you, I will tear the kingdom away from you and give it to your servant. However, I will not do it during your lifetime for the sake of your father David. I will tear it out of your son's hands. Yet I will not tear the entire kingdom away from him. I will give one tribe to your son for the sake of my servant David and for the sake of Jerusalem that I choose. So the Lord raised up Hadad the Edomite as an enemy against Solomon. He was of the royal family in Edom. Earlier, when David was in Edom, Joab, the commander of the army. Okay, we're doing a backflash. It's the backflash, y'all. Use your imagination. All right, earlier, when David was in Edom, Joab, the commander of the army, had gone to bury the dead and had struck down every man in Edom. For Joab and all Israel had remained there 6 months until he had killed every male in Edom. Now, I'm going to get a little bit beside myself, so I'm not going to say nothing. Because in July, we start from Genesis, and y'all going to know who Edom was. Hadad fled to Egypt, along with some Edomites with his father's servants. At the time Hadad was a small boy. Hadad and his men set out from Midian and went to Paran. They took men with them from Paran and went to Egypt, to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. You know, king of Egypt in general, they are equal opportunists. Anybody who comes to them for asylum, they just be like, come on in. Who gave Hadad a house, ordered that he be given food, and gave him land. Pharaoh liked Hadad so much that he gave him a wife, the sister of his own wife, Queen Tahpenes. Tahpenes' sister gave birth to Hadad's son, Gunubath. Tahpenes herself weaned him in Pharaoh's palace, and Gunubath lived there along with Pharaoh's sons. When Hadad heard in Egypt that David rested with his fathers, and that Joab, the commander of the army, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me leave so I may go to my own country. But Pharaoh asked him, what do you lack here with me, for you want to go back to your own country? Nothing, he replied, but please let me leave. God raised up Rezin, son of Eliada, as an enemy against Solomon. So, what God doing? Going around and making insurance plans? Okay. Insurance plans just in case we slip up. This is a lot of activity behind the scene. God raised up Rezin, son of Eliada, as an enemy against Solomon. Rezin had fled from his master, King Hadadezer of Zobah, and gathered men to himself. He became leader of a raiding party when David killed the Zobabites. He went to Damascus, lived there, and became king in Damascus. Oh, he went to Damascus. He went to Damascus, lived there, and became king in Damascus. Rezin was Israel's enemy throughout Solomon's reign, adding to the trouble Hadad had caused. He reigned over Aram and loathed Israel. Now Solomon's servant, Jeroboam, son of Nebat, was an Ephraimite from Zerida. His widowed mother's name was Zeruiah. Jeroboam or Jeroboam? Jeroboam, mm, my God, rebelled against Solomon, and this was the reason he rebelled against the king. Solomon had built the supporting terraces and repaired the opening in the wall of the city of his father David. Now the man Jeroboam was capable, and Solomon noticed the young man because he was getting things done. So he appointed him over the entire labor force of the house of Joseph. During that time, the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, met Jeroboam on the road as Jeroboam came out of Jerusalem. Now Ahijah had wrapped himself with a new cloak, and the two of them were alone in the open field. Then Ahijah took hold of the new cloak he had on, tore it into 12 pieces, and said to Jeroboam, "Take 10 pieces for yourself, for this is what the Lord God of Israel says. I am about to tear the kingdom of Solomon out of Solomon's hand. I will give you 10 tribes, but one tribe will remain his for the sake of my servant David and for the sake of Jerusalem, the city I choose out of all the tribes of Israel. For they have abandoned me. They have bowed down to Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians. My God, Sidonians. To Shemosh, the god of Moab, and to Milcom, the god of the Ammonites. They have not walked in my ways to do what is right in my sight and carry out my statutes and my judgment as his father David did. However, I will not take the whole kingdom from him, but will let him be ruler all the days of his life for the sake of my servant David, whom I choose, and who kept my commands and my statutes. I will take 10 tribes of the kingdom from his son and give them to you. I will give one tribe to his son, so that my servant David will always have a lamp before me in Jerusalem, the city I choose for myself to put my name there. I will appoint you, and you will reign as king over all you want, and you will be king over Israel. After that, if you obey all I command you, walk in my ways, and do what is right in my sight in order to keep my statutes and my commands as my servant David did, I will be with you. I will build you a lasting dynasty just as I built for David, and I will give you Israel. I will humble David's descendants because of their unfaithfulness, but not forever." Therefore, Solomon tried to kill Jeroboam. How did he find out? Somebody told him. I wonder how he found out. Therefore, Solomon tried to kill Jeroboam, but he fled to Egypt. I told you, Egypt. They just said, come on in, all is welcome. To King Shishak of Egypt, where he remained until Solomon's death. The rest of the events of Solomon's reign, along with his accomplishments and his wisdoms, were written in the book of Solomon's events. The length of Solomon's reign in Jerusalem over all Israel totaled 40 years, the same of his dad's. Solomon rested with his fathers and was buried in the city of his father David. His son Rehoboam became king in his place. Then Rehoboam sent to Shechem, for all Israel had gone to Shechem to make him king. Then Rehoboam went to Shechem. Okay. When Jeroboam, son of Nebat, heard about it, he stayed in Egypt. Oh, sorry. I said that kind of wrong. When Jeroboam, oh, hold on, I gotta sneeze. I remember to turn the mic back on this time. Let me get a little sniff. Hold on. I have oregano in mine instead of Vicks. Oregano oil. Whew. Whew. My glass is a little foggy. Hold on. All right, let's go. Get a little douse of peppermint. All right, I'm back. Then Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had gone to Shechem to make him king. When Jeroboam son of Nebat heard about it, he stayed in Egypt, where he had fled from King Solomon's presence. Jeroboam stayed in Egypt, but they summoned him. And Jeroboam and the whole assembly of Israel came and spoke to Rehoboam. Your father made our yoke harsh. You, therefore, lighten your father's harsh service and the heavy yoke he put on us, and we will serve you. Rehoboam replied, Go away for 3 days and then return to me. So the people left. The king Rehoboam consulted with the elders who had served with his father Solomon when he was alive, asking, How do you advise me to respond to this people? They replied, Today, if you will be a servant to this people and serve them, and if you respond to them by speaking kind words to them, they will be your servants forever. But he rejected the advice of the elders who had advised him, and consulted with the young men who had grown up with him and attended him. He asked them, What message do you advise that we send back to this people who said to me, Lighten the yoke your father put on us? Then the young men who had grown up with him told him, This is what you should say to this people who said to you, Your father made our yoke heavy, but you make it lighter on us. This is what you should tell them. My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. Although my father burdened you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined with you with whips, but I will discipline you with barbed whips. What did he expect for the people to do? That's a lot. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, asked the king, as the king had ordered, Return to me on the third day. Then the king answered the people harshly. He rejected the advice of the elders. He rejected the advice the elders had given him and spoke to them according to the young men's advice. My father made your yoke heavy. But I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with barbed whips. The king did not listen to the people, because this turn of events came from the Lord to carry out his word, which the Lord had spoken through Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam son of Nebat. When all Israel saw that the king had not listened to them, the people answered him, What portion do we have in David? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. Israel, return to your tents. David, now look after your own house. So Israel went to their tents, but Rehoboam reigned over the Israelites living in the cities of Judah. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was in charge of the forced labor. But all Israel, my God, I got a picture. But all Israel stoned him to death. Who was Adoram? I got to go back. King Rehoboam managed to get into the chariot and flee to Jerusalem. Israel is still in rebellion against the house of David today. When all Israel heard that Jeroboam had came back, they summoned him to the assembly and made him king over all Israel. No one followed the house of David except the tribe of Judah alone, which is kind of what it was before. Because remember when David got cased up and with the whole Bathsheba thing, and then his son Absalom overthrew him and he had to run. It was only Judah who went with them, the tribe of Judah who went with him, because when he came back to be king, when they called him back to be king after after Absalom's death, what happened next? Yeah, it was just Judah. It was still just Judah, and the other tribes were super upset with Judah and told the tribe of Judah that they snuck King David out without letting them know. But Judah has always been kind of like faithful to David, but I wonder if we haven't read this yet. But I wonder if it's because of the tribe of Benjamin, because I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We didn't read that part yet. That's back in the day, back in the day when we read Genesis and all the way up, then we can discuss this. But I feel like there's a little something there. Okay. Because it's about to get to it. I see it a little bit further. When Rehoboam arrived in Jerusalem, he mobilized 180,000 fit young soldiers from the entire house of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin. Yeah. So something had happened back in the day, but I don't want to be a spoiler alert till we read it. But something happened back in the day with the Benjaminites. Anyway, to fight against the house of Israel to restore the kingdom to Rehoboam, son of Solomon. But the word of God came to Shemaiah, the man of God. Is this another prophet? Okay, the other prophet was Ahijah, right? Yeah. Say to Rehoboam, son of Solomon, king of Judah, to the whole house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people, this is what the Lord says. You are not to march up and fight against your brothers, the Israelites. Each of you return home, for this situation is from me. Got to be more careful. God said you don't even deserve to fight back. You just better yield to what I did. You get a highlight. You can't even be mad. This is what he's saying. Y'all. This is G. Thus says G. This is what he's saying. He's saying you don't even deserve to be upset. You don't even deserve to fight, although you could. But you're going to sit here and reap what you sowed. That's what that is. You could be mad all you want to. You could try to fight this bad, but I told you what not to do. You did what I told you not to do, and now you're going to sit here and get your whipping. That's what that was. And he told them to go sit down. That's so sad. Because he said, for this situation is from me. You can't even fight back. So they listened to the word of the Lord and went back according to the word of the Lord. Oh, this is so sad. Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. From there he went out and built Peniel. Jeroboam said to himself, the kingdom might now return to the house of David. If these people regularly go to offer sacrifices in the Lord's temple in Jerusalem, the heart of these people will return to their Lord, King Rehoboam of Judah. They will kill me and go back to the king of Judah. So the king sought advice. Then he made 2 golden calves, and he said to the people, going to Jerusalem is too difficult for you, Israel. Here are gods who brought you up from the land of Egypt. My God. He set up one in Bethel and put the other in Dan. This led to sin. The people walked in procession before one of the calves all the way to Dan. Jeroboam also made shrines on the high places and made priests from the ranks of the people who were not Levites. When we started Genesis in July, you'll see how this matters in the story lineup. Jeroboam made a festival in the 8th month on the 15th day of the month, like the festival in Judah. He offered sacrifices on the altar. He made this offering in Bethel to sacrifice to the calves he had made. He also stationed the priests in Bethel for the high places he had made. He offered sacrifices on the altar he had set up in Bethel on the 15th day of the 8th month. He chose his month on his own. He made He made a festival for the Israelites, offered sacrifices on the altar, and burnt incense. A man of God came, however, from Judah to Bethel by the word of the Lord, while Jeroboam was standing beside the altar to burn incense. The man of God cried out against the altar by the word of the Lord. Altar, altar! This is what the Lord says. A son will be born in the house of David named Josiah, and he will sacrifice on you the priests. No, he will sacrifice on you the priests of the high places who are burning incense on you. Human bones will be burnt on you. He gave a sign that day. Oh, he was talking to the altar. Let me read that again. Altar, altar, this is what the Lord says. A son will be born to the house of David named Josiah, and he will sacrifice on you the priests of the high places who are burning incense on you. Human bones will be burnt on you. Wow, that's a little creepy. He gave a sign that day. He said, this is the sign the Lord has spoken. The altar will now be ripped apart, and the ashes that are on it will be poured out. Then the king heard the messages the man of God had cried out against the altar of Bethel. Jeroboam stretched out his hand from the altar and said, arrest him! But the hand he stretched out against him withered. He could not pull it back to himself. The altar was ripped apart and the ashes poured from the altar, according to the sign the man of God had given by the word of the Lord. When the king responded to the man of God, plead for the favor of the Lord your God and pray for me, so that my hand may be restored to me. So the man of God pleaded. Oh, that was merciful for him. I would have been like, you tried to kill me. That hand's gonna stay just how it is, because I don't know what you're gonna do with that hand once I fix it. You tried to kill me, sir. Oh my God. He just goes, and so the man of God pleaded for the favor. Talk about merciful. So the man of God pleaded for the favor of the Lord, and the king's hand was restored to him and became as it had been at first. The king declared to the man of God, come home with me, refresh yourself, and I'll give you a reward. But the man of God replied, if you were to give me half your house, I still wouldn't go with you. And I wouldn't eat your food or drink water in this place. Oh, and I wouldn't eat food or drink water in this place. For this is what I was commanded by the word of the Lord. You must not eat food or drink water or go back the way you came. So he went another way, and he did not go back by the way he had come to Bethel. See, I don't like this story that's coming up. I have a problem with this story that's coming up. But I don't want to project on you all. But already my gears are grind. My gears are grind. Now a certain old prophet who was living in Bethel, his son came and told him all the deeds that the man of God had done that day in Bethel. His sons also told their father the words that he had spoken to the king. Then their father asked them, which way did he go? His sons had seen the way taken by the man of God who had come from Judah. Then he said to his sons, saddle the donkey for me. So they saddled the donkey for him, and he got on it. He followed the man of God and found him sitting under an oak tree. He asked him, are you the man of God who came from Judah? I am, he said. Then he said to him, come home with me and eat some food. But he answered, I cannot go back with you or accompany you. How will I eat food or drink water with you in this place? For a message came to me by the word of the Lord. You must not eat food or drink water there or go back the way you came. He said to him, I am a prophet like you. An angel spoke to me by the word of the Lord. Bring him back with you to your house so that he may eat food and drink water. The old prophet deceived him, and the man of God went back with him, ate food in his house, and drank water. While they were sitting at the table, the word of the Lord came to the prophet who had brought him back. And the prophet cried out to the man of God who had came from Judah. This is what the Lord says. Because you rebelled against the Lord's command and did not keep the command the Lord your God commanded you, but you went back and ate food and drank water in the place that he said to you, do not eat food and do not drink water. Your corpse will never reach the grave of your fathers. So after he had eaten food and after he had after he had eaten food and after he had drunk, the old prophet saddled the donkey for the prophet he had brought back. When he left, the lion attacked him along the way and killed him. His corpse was thrown on the road, and the donkey was standing beside it. The lion was standing beside the corpse too. There were men passing by who saw the corpse thrown on the road and the lion standing beside it, and they went and spoke about it in the city where the old prophet lived. When the prophet who had brought him back from his way heard about it, he said, he is the man of God who disobeyed the Lord's command. The Lord has given him to the lion, and he has mauled and killed him, and it has mauled and killed him, according to the word of the Lord that he spoke to him. Then the old prophet, I can't stand him. Oh, I'm so upset with that old prophet. Then the old prophet instructed his sons, saddle the donkey for me. They saddled it, and he went and found the corpse thrown on the road, with the donkey and the lion standing beside the corpse. Oh, I can't stand him. The lion had not eaten the corpse or mauled the donkey. So the prophet lifted the corpse of the man of God and laid it on the donkey and brought it back. The old prophet, don't act like you're doing something good. The old prophet came into the city to mourn and to bury him. Ugh, mourning for what? Then he laid the corpse in his own grave. And I need a moment. I need a moment because I do not understand this story. And I need a moment because, you know what? This is not the time for us to digress. It's not the time for us to digress. I'll do that on the recap. On the next episode. I hope I'm feeling this fiery on the next episode. Because I'm done. Be that as it may. And they mourned over him. Oh, I can't I can't. Oh, my brother. I'm upset. I'm upset. It's just, again, I'll leave it for the cap or the recap. Oh, my brother. After he had buried him, he said to his sons, when I die, ah, foolishness, when I die, bury me in the grave where the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. Oh, sorry, I'm so upset. Y'all not even in the camera. When I die, bury me in the grave where the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the message that he cried out by the word of the Lord against the altar in Bethel and against all the shrines of the high places in the city of Samaria is certain to happen. Even after this, Jeroboam did not repent of his evil way, but again made priests for the high places from the ranks of the people. He ordained whoever so desired it, and they became priests of the high places. This was the sin that caused the house of Jeroboam to be cut off and obliterated from the face of the earth. My God. As you can see, this is an emotional one for me. So annoyed. Oh, look at it. I'm so annoyed. My hair coming loose. So annoyed. I'm just rag tatty tootie today. Let me get ready for this outro. Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to read to you guys. This was fun. I really missed it. Thank you for tuning in to Bible Body Doubling. It is sponsored by the Gardener's House. Till next time. Ta-ta. Ta-ta for now.